One New Jersey man has decided or did decide to go on a racist rant against his neighbor and essentially told his neighbor, you know, if you don't like it, why don't you come see me? And there were some consequences to that he did not like. Let's start with the first video featuring Edward Matthews, a resident of South New Jersey, and the rant that he went on against his black neighbor.
Tuesday, the front in Cherry Hill, the daughter got smashed.
Exactly.
Is that what you want? No. And you want to know where I was when all this happened?
I don't care.
At work, monkey.
I don't care where you were.
At morgue. Just like I told the Mount Laurel police, get these monkey out of here, and you can't do it. That's me talking. 3602 Gramercy Way, that's where I live. Come see me.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, White, why are you back over here?
Well, somebody called me.
Someone called you. It's private property. You have no jurisdiction here whatsoever.
I do
None.
when somebody calls me.
Hold on.
I need back up.
You know what? Hold on. No. I'm gonna let you do your thing. Go talk to these. Go ahead.
Stop.
You go talk to the. Let them know what I'm all about and what their rights they have.
All right. You want to go back to your house? I'll come back to you.
No, I'll stay right here. It's common property.
Okay.
Have a nice night. I'm gonna let you guys get an education right now.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'll do my job. Right?
No problem. I'm not going away until your husband stops finding me and threatening me while I'm at fucking work.
Cagney, cut it out, man.
Oh,
Let me
wait.
talk to them.
Arrest me.
I'm not
you
arresting
kidding?
right now. Relax.
You.
Just cut it out, dude.
That's what you see, Brandon. 3602 Gramercy Way. Come see me, you.
So he says, come see me. We obviously had to bleep out the parts where he used the N-word repeatedly. And apparently this isn't the first run-in that he's had with his African-American neighbors. Now, when he said, come see me, the neighbors decided, okay, we'll go ahead and come see you. And they decided to do a protest outside of his home. As many as 150 demonstrators gathered outside of his house and chanted for him to come out. As you can see, a very diverse group of people. You see white people there, you see black people there as well. And there's a history of issues with this man, and his name again is Edward Matthews from Mount Laurel. And you know, I want to go to this next video as B-roll. So the racist New Jersey man was then later arrested as the protesters were there. Some of them you can see are throwing bottles and stuff like that, but the cops created a walkway to kind of get him through and put him in the car. Why was he being arrested? Well, they put him in custody for 4th-degree bias, intimidation, and trespassing. And later he did apologize. But before we go to his apology, I want to go to the final video here because this has to do with a prior incident involving the same man, Edward Matthews. Let's watch.
That's why nothing's happening. I sell drugs. That's what I do. That's what I've always done around here. I stopped, went to prison 3 times. Now I have all the friends with the cops. If you guys want to keep doing it this route, we're gonna go the legal route. You're not gonna get any help from the cops because they're my people. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's why you're not getting anything. And I know that you've said that. The cops came down and told me, they said, what do you want us to do? So you can figure that out. We're not trying to cause you a problem. You're not trying to cause us a problem, right?
I've never been trying to cause you a problem.
Right. So there's no reason for the cops to come back around. We should be perfectly cordial, be able to have these conversations and be able to live around here with no problem.
Yeah, but not what you're talking about, oh, the cops aren't gonna help you or calling my brother. I don't bother you, I don't do anything.
Calling your brother.
Yeah, you did do that.
No, I said, now I'm gonna call the cops like that's what I said. I didn't call your brother. I said, now here I go looking like a calling the cops. This is exactly what I said.
Well, we all heard it.
We all heard you?
We all heard it, yeah. Everybody outside. I couldn't believe it because I wasn't even in the argument.
Right, and you weren't even there either.
Yeah,
and
I came outside up top.
Keep doing what you're doing, and then we'll turn it around another way. How about that?
Okay.
So in that video, in that incident that we just shared with you in that last video, apparently Matthews brags about selling drugs and also brags about his close relationship with the cops. Apparently his relationship with the cops wasn't close enough for them to avoid arresting him for 4th-degree bias, intimidation, and trespassing. And then later he apologized. But before we get to that, Cenk.
Yeah, but this time, because they finally arrested him after 150 people showed up at his house like he wanted them to. But the history of the police with this guy, his middle name I think is Cagney. I think that's what they call him. Like that's what the cop called him there in one of the videos you saw. Is that the police let him get away with anything he wanted. So when he said in that second video, "They're my people," referring to the cops, no, the history in that case is that is exactly right. even though you just saw him admit that he's a criminal, right? And he said, but it doesn't matter because the cops are my people. So with that woman that he was talking to, so what was the conflict and what happened and how did the cops react? She lives on top of his house, right? It's a condo unit, and she's a single mom and has a young kid. And he didn't like that the kid every once in a while would make noise. He smashed her door, apparently. And I saw the pictures of the smashed door. He did graffiti on her car. So she keeps calling the cops. Like, it's obviously him. I have him on tape saying that we're N-words and that he'll do anything he wants to us. And then you see my door, the cop's like, I don't care. No, we're not gonna do anything. So it turns out he was right. The cops were his people. The reason they did the arrest here is because it made such a big, so many people showed up. So they got embarrassed that they're buddies with the guy. You saw the first video. Look, that cop didn't do anything wrong in the first video, right? And he went and respectfully talked to the African-American homeowners, etc., right? But if you noticed, he knows the guy. He called him by his name, Cagney. He's like, Cagney, come on, why are you doing this? Come on, man, remember, be cool, be cool. They never arrested him before. And by the way, that incident with the single mom, no, it's over and over and over again. The reason 150 people showed up is because he's hounding every African-American in the neighborhood.
Exactly.
And he's not just doing it verbally. They've got these things where their cars and their houses are smashed. And yet the cops don't do anything. So don't get this twisted. The cops finally take action here, only because they're busted and they're caught. Otherwise, they were letting this thug run wild against black people in that neighborhood.
Right, exactly. Once the cops realized that they allowed this situation to escalate to the point where there are protesters outside of this guy's house, that's when they realized, oh, maybe we should do something. Not because they, I know this is now my speculation, right? So let me be clear about that. In my opinion, not because they actually wanted to do anything about it, but because they wanted to protect themselves.
100%.
That's it, that's all it was.
Look, so look, why do I say 100%? That's of course my opinion, but it's based on all of this evidence that we're showing you guys. In the first tape, not only is the cop super polite to this guy, but that guy bossed him around. You notice when the cop comes, he's like, hey, what are you doing here? Okay, and he knows the guy's name. He's like, what are you doing here? You back up, okay? You don't belong here. You think a black guy can talk to a cop like that? Is that what you think? Do you know what would happen to a black man in America if he started bossing the cops around and telling him you don't belong and I have rights and you don't, and etc.?
God, I can't stand people like this guy. Thinking that he's, the big guy who needs to go around policing everyone else's lives, harassing African Americans, harassing other homeowners. Look at him, he's proud of himself. Like he thinks that he's the arbiter of what should or shouldn't happen in the neighborhood. He thinks he's the cop.
No, but I gotta tell you, so there's always gonna be bad apples. And so there's always gonna be a jerk like this in the neighborhood.
Yes.
The people that are more responsible are the police, because they prove him right. He says, hey, I think you guys are monkeys, and I think I can do anything I want to you, and I'm a known criminal, but I'm white, and the cops are my people. You guys are never, ever gonna get justice. And he's so brazen, he knows he's on tape. He states his address. So I've said 1,000 times, do not go to people's homes. It's a terrible idea, it's gonna end in disaster. This is a rare exception, because he said, come see me. He gave the address twice on tape and invited people to his house and said, come see me.
Right. And
they came and saw him. You F around, you find out. And they didn't do any violence to him, right? They have thrown the water bottles at the end, etc., because they're incredibly frustrated that this guy's gotten away with everything for years on end. But the police, they're.
So I just want to make one other point, because it's an important point to kind of put this story in a broader context of what we've been seeing in this country since last summer with the Black Lives Matter protests and the statement, defund the police. Look, there's rising crime, violent crime throughout the country right now. And so I'm already seeing Republican lawmakers argue that it's because we've defunded the police and it's because we keep antagonizing the police. That's the reason why this is happening, even though in areas in the country where they've actually funded the police more and have been incredibly friendly to the police, we're still seeing these crime spikes. The reason why people had that statement to begin with is because there are two different, like the country's divided when it comes to the issue of policing, because they have different experiences. So if you are an African American from that community, right, this South Jersey community, You're used to the police not having your back. You're used to your taxes going to pay for their salaries, but you don't feel like they're protecting and serving you because they're not. So when you hear defund the police, understand that while for you, defunding the police might sound insane because you've had good experiences with the cops. You call, they come, they protect you, they serve, they do what they're supposed to do. For others, that isn't the case. So defunding might not sound as scary to them because honestly, whether they're funded or defunded, it really makes no difference in the way they've been treated by these cops, right? So do I actually think we need to completely defund the police, abolish the police? No, but that's not what people are genuinely asking for. They're asking for like accountable policing that actually protects and serves.
Yeah, and guys, look, so your house is broken into, you call the cops come. That's a good thing. Everybody wants that, right? Black folks want that, we want that, white folks want it, everybody wants it, right? But on the other hand, are they out there solving crimes 24/7 and preventing crime? Crime is through the roof now, right? And all these cops are going around going, I don't know, man, yeah, man. Maybe it's the fault.
They were mean to us.
Yeah, it's the fault of people who are mean to us. Wait, are you not doing your job because people were mean to you? Is that what's happening, right? Nah, they're not preventing crime. They're unless it's property crime. So that's really what the police are for. Look, getting rid of them entirely doesn't make any sense. You need policing in the world, right? On the other hand, the way that the cops are right now, it's just wide scale injustice over and over and over again, right? So all of our members are writing in with all their own stories. I'll just read one. Eclectic Miscellanea wrote in, the cops are shamed into actually doing something. Apparently police only do the right thing when they have no other choice. Yeah, and you saw how friendly the cop was with him. You saw, we told you about all these different instances. That's why all those people showed up. And they never, ever, ever protected them until they were shamed into protecting. They're like, oh my God, now we have to actually do our job against a known criminal who we know is going around calling people monkeys and the N-word and breaking into their stuff. Now we gotta do our job. Oh man. Now, look, and so many other people are writing the same thing we said. If that was a black guy bossing around a cop like that, and he's a known criminal, and he's getting in the grill of families living in, white families living in condos, and brags about it, he's like, oh yeah, I'm a drug dealer, and the cops are on my side. And the cops come and he goes, you better get out of here, okay? Etc. That guy is gonna get brutalized, and everybody knows it. The innocent black guys get brutalized. Here's a guilty white guy, nonstop, nothing. So finally they arrested him on some rinky-dink charges only because they were humiliated into action. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.